The Puritan influence in American society. Cultures often rely on past beliefs to shape their values or ways of life. The concepts of freedom and liberty, both important aspects of American society, were first conceived as a result of Puritan thought. This influence through mediums like relationships, social order, and education can be seen as held traditions from Puritan practices. These values, set forth by leaders like John Winthrop and Roger Williams, shaped American society with notions that led to the War of Independence and the basis for the founding fathers of the role of religion should play in the new government. Although today most of Puritan law has become little more than punchlines, their complex core values still resonate. With the echoing values of Puritan ideas such as individualism and the self, the purpose with this discussion is to identify the relationship between Puritanism and modern American culture. The Puritan value system remains lodged deep in our psyches, shaping our emotions, judgments, and behaviors. Its effects can be seen regardless of one's political orientation or religious affiliation. Some might believe that only the Amish or the Mennonite communities are close to true Puritan likeness, but the truth is that the moral codes and values held by Puritan leaders in the 17th and 18th century are still widely held today, just labeled differently. Francis Beamer, a historian with the expertise in Puritanism, says that our separation of church and state implemented by the Puritans who fled the Church of England ironically strengthens the influence of religion in the United States. The Constitution basically thrusts religion into a competition and actually makes religion more vital in America than in some other countries. In the 1830s, Alex de Tocqueville wrote that he could see the whole destiny of America contained in the first Puritan who landed on the shores of this country. Puritan values extended to hard work and self-sacrifice, honored material success, where wealth was seen as the reward for living a moral and good life. Family life, community service, art, and literature were all included in those beliefs. The famous Protestant work ethic has been said to explain the appeal of the self-made man. This may be a remnant of the Protestant rejection of church hierarchy and emphasis on personal relationship with God. Psychologist Eric Lewis Ullman noted in his study of American Puritan relations that the work habits that are present in America can find their roots in the works of men like Martin Luther and John Calvin. Luther focused on vocations such as domestic duties, civic duties, and employment. He further argued that everyday work is embedded or imbued with spiritual significance. Luther further expressed how our work is essential to carrying out what Jesus called his greatest commandments in Matthew 22:37 through 39. Calvin pulled from these ideas of Luther's and argued that socializing while on the job was a distraction from the assignment of God gave you. These leaders were influential in the belief that success was a path to salvation, or hard work and good deeds would bring rewards in life and after. Another Puritan emphasis is the focus on education of youth, the premises being that all should be taught to read as fully to be able to read and understand the Bible, and other subjects to focus on as well to be a well-adjusted member of society. Religion played an important role in developing education systems in the United States. The Puritan strict fundamental beliefs were that education was necessary in order to read the Bible to receive salvation. One had to go with the other. Clifford K. Shipton noted in an article in Pennsylvania History that if we were to look at a map of colleges in the United States, it would look like a band of the Milky Way across the heavens, tracing the westward migration of Puritan New Englanders. Colleges like Harvard, Yale, and Dartmouth are all Ivy League colleges, and they were started by Puritan or Congregationalist leaders. The works of Roger Williams in the mid-17th century would later provide the debated issues on the influence religion had on education and the foundational ideas of separation of church and state. The importance of this in today's society is that it set the standard for religious freedom and was bounded to the principles of the American Constitution, and it is highly relevant in today's religious circles, which reflects onto the social and political platform. Issues like school prayer are included in this. During the late 1600s, the most important aspect of their daily life, including law, was governed by religious beliefs and doctrine. Issues like church attendance, church attire, public mischief, gossiping, and other issues were given a multitude of punishments. Unlike punishments for crimes today, the Puritans felt as though punishment should be based on humiliation and shame of the offender. The use of public stocks, the ducking stool, fines, whipping, and the brack or gossip bridle were all acceptable and included not just men, but women and children as well. With the use of codes, sometimes called blue laws, very strict religious beliefs were taught and enforced in all manners of society. These laws became very important for Puritan communities as a way to ensure Christian laws were followed. Also known as Sunday laws, they were designed to restrict or ban some or all Sunday activities for religious reasons, particularly to promote the observance of a day of worship or rest. Blue laws may also restrict shopping or ban a sale of certain items on specific days, most often on Sundays in the United States. This idea led to prohibition in the 1920s, repealing prohibition in the 1930s, and many states have counties that either still completely ban the sale of alcohol or restrict it to non-Sunday sales. In the United States, the U.S. Supreme Court has held blue laws as constitutional numerous times, citing secular bases such as securing a day of rest for mail carriers as well as protecting workers and family, in turn contributing to social stability and guaranteeing the free exercise of religion. In a series of experiments conducted in 2011 by Yale University professor Eric Ullman, researchers found that the minds of most Americans there is still tight, puritanical intermingling of work, sex, and morality. However, according to the study, none of the results hinged on the participants' religious affiliation or level of religious feeling. So what factor is ingrained in our subconscious that makes our emotions guide us to decisions that were brought about by Puritan beliefs? Most Americans share the belief that education and hard work are needed to be successful and by that happy in life. Hard work is proven by the number of hours we spend of our lives trying to keep the world going. Education is proven by the total of hours we spend at our school trying to learn new things that we can use in our lives. Raising test scores in schools, numerous college degrees, job training, team projects at work, and other overwhelming tasks, all to prove that we are working better to better our lives and be successful. This is the Puritan way, with the exception of not all work is done for the glory of God. But nevertheless, the old idle hands motto still stands. There is also a plethora of American religions that still believe that the sole purpose of existing is to worship God, and self-improvement is necessary to be considered as worthy of God's grace and salvation. Today, within the religious realm of Protestant Christianity, there are pinpointed sermons, hymnals, doctrine, and traditions that have roots in Puritan society. Today, we may recognize Puritan followers labeled sometimes as the religious right. They are powerful in the political arena. And they focus on the decline of Christian values in today's society. The issues of underperforming schools, school shootings, homosexuality, and gender debates, broken homes, has more than the reemergence fighting to regain the beloved America as a nation that they see fit is divine and instituted by God, and as one nation under God. That the belief that these Puritan roots still have an effect on our decisions that we have today is definitely influential, and hopefully in the next generation will continue to be. Thank you.